Good evening and welcome to Electronic Game Information. For those of our American viewers, happy National Video Game Day. Congratulations to video games. Video games, of course, the thing that keeps divorced kids from thinking about their divorced parents. So we are well into the Tokyo Game Show 2019, and there is plenty to talk about. The news and the updates from this classic gaming event are overwhelming, even to the most dedicated gaming hack. So let's get right into talking about my Nintendo Switch eShop wishlist in our segment, How Much Does the Game Cost versus How Much Am I Willing to Spend on It? Each week of the Tokyo Game Show, our Tokyo Game Show coverage, we look at a game on my Nintendo Switch eShop wishlist, ask how much does the game cost, and then demand that it be marked down so that I can buy it for a cheaper price. This week we're looking at Slain Back from Hell. This is the first game on this new segment that is widely considered to be a bad game, but I am still willing to buy it simply because I have a certain fondness for dark action platformers. This is a dark action platformer update, so if you're a fan of classic dark action platformers like Doom Troopers, RoboCop vs. Terminator, specifically the Sega Genesis version of RoboCop vs. Terminator, also the Terminator, specifically the Sega CD version of the Terminator, or Skeleton Warriors on the Sega Saturn or PlayStation. If you have an interest in these dark action platformers, you might have a vested interest in Slain Back from Hell. For those of you unfamiliar with Doom Troopers, let's take a quick look back at Doom Troopers. This is, of course, the classic dark action platformer Doom Troopers for the Sega Genesis, and this is the unforgettable intro where you are faced with one of the creatures that you can expect to see in Doom Troopers once the game begins. And I'll just go ahead and read this text as it scrolls up, because this is going to get us ready to watch that classic dark action platformer Doom Troopers action once it actually begins. For the first time, humanity is about to be snuffed out by the marauding forces of the Dark Legion. Sounds terrifying. Algaroth's evil forces emerge from their portal and establish citadels across the solar system. That might be Algaroth in the background there. The mega corporations, desperate to retain their power, unleash the Doom Troopers. So the Doom Troopers are the good guys that are going to cleanse the system of the Dark Legion. The Doom Troopers' mission to annihilate the Dark Legion and force Algaroth back through his portal, trapping him in the Dark Symmetry. So we're going to figure out what the Dark Symmetry is by going right into Doom Troopers and selecting one of our two main characters here. We have Max Steiner and Mitch Hunter. So you can choose here. This is the Sega Genesis version of Doom Troopers, and we have some more text coming up. This is Venus. We're taking our first foray into the Doom Troopers world. Your insertion point will be once across the treacherous waters. This is the waters of Venus. You can expect that you may use the cover of darkness to fight your way through the batter-scarred hills Throne of Bones, good luck. So good luck to the Doom Troopers as they go in to Venus, and you can see now you have this classic dark action platforming. This looks like this is obviously this is taking a lot of liberties with what is considered to be a violent game with a lot of very special animations. We're looking at jumping enemies. These are the Dark Legions of Algaroth. That could be a shrine to Algaroth. If you jump past it, maybe you can go into it, but we're not going into it. We have to destroy more of the Dark Legions on your way to returning Algaroth to the Dark Symmetry from whence he came. So these are this is the first level of Doom Troopers. This is just a remarkable Sega Genesis dark action platformer. And before we go any further, let's take another look at Doom Troopers on the Super Nintendo, which I think you can spot a few key differences. So if we could see the Doom Troopers on the Super Nintendo. So there is that bad man Algaroth of the Dark Legion, and we have that scrolling text is coming the way back. But you can see one of the big differences here is the aspect ratio looks a little different. I'm not sure if that's the video that we got for this particular version of Doom Troopers, or if it's just something that was just in the game itself, Doom Troopers for the Super Nintendo. Algaroth's evil forces emerge from their portal and establish citadels across the solar system. So a lot of the same elements from the Sega Genesis Doom Troopers have made their way into the Super Nintendo version of Doom Troopers. And the Doom Troopers solar system, Dark Legion, Doom Troopers mission, annihilate the Dark Legion and force Algaroth back through his portal, trapping him in the Dark Symmetry. So that is the story of Doom Troopers up to the point where the game actually begins. And let's see if we can get it's a different start page. So you can see there was that kind of rock wall. Now it's this darker kind of thing, but Mitch Hunter is back, and I'm guessing if you want to choose Max Steiner, you can, but I think that just for the sake of this look back at Doom Troopers for the Super Nintendo, we are going to go with Mitch. So this is the Venus level. This is the first level of Doom Troopers on the Super Nintendo, and it's very similar, where you're finding yourself in the Venus jungle on the way to the mighty waterfall of death. Once inside the treasure's waters, wait for the sunset so that you may use the cover of darkness to fight your way through the battle-scarred hills of Venus. So here's Mitch. He's back, and he's running just running straight through the jungles of Venus. If you've ever been to Venus, you'll know that the jungles on that particular planet are vast and dense, and in Doom Troopers, they are filled with the Dark Legion of Algaroth. So if you're looking to shove Algaroth back into the Dark Symmetry, then you might want to consider doing so on the Super Nintendo with the classic dark action platformer Doom Troopers. And there, you can see Mitch almost fell through into the cliff, but he did not. He pulled himself back up. That's one of those classic platforming moves where you think you're going to fall off the edge of something, and you just manage to get through. And I'm not sure why those particular Doom Troopers are hanging from the trees. I assume that they're also called Doom Troopers. Maybe everyone's called Doom Troopers. I don't know. I don't really want to watch this anymore. Before we get any further, let's actually take a listen to a song. I had mentioned earlier the Terminator for the Sega CD, and I thought it would be a very good thing to do on the special episode of Electronic Game Information's Tokyo Game Show coverage, where we would listen to a song from the classic Terminator for the Sega CD soundtrack as composed by Tommy Tallarico, Bihan Shahir, Joey Karas, and of course Techno Man. We have a song from the Terminator soundtrack all set to listen to. Is that correct, Alan?
Yeah, I think, yeah, okay.
So let's take a listen. This is one of the most iconic tracks from the Terminator Sega CD soundtrack. Just if you can, just kind of close your eyes and imagine you're just fighting through some dark platformer action on your way to destroy the Skynet mainframe, or maybe you're on your way to save Sarah Connor, or maybe you've already saved Sarah Connor and you're on your way to do something else. There's a lot to do in the Terminator game for the Sega Genesis, Sega CD, and it's hard to imagine playing a better version of the Terminator than the one on Sega CD, because you do have this classic Tommy Tallarico music, also in part produced by Techno Man. You really just lose yourself in this, you know? So Slain Back from Hell is priced at the very unreasonable high price of $19.99. But I'd like to take this opportunity to talk more about Skeleton Warriors for the Sega Saturn and PlayStation. Skeleton Warriors is, of course, a dark action platformer based on the very exciting Toy Line and Saturday morning cartoon series that follows the exploits of Prince Lightstar and his Legion of Light as they fight Baron Dark and his undead army in the hopes of regaining control of his half of the Lightstar Crystal, which has been broken in two and which acts as a magical source of energy. Whoever controls the Lightstar Crystal controls everything. But watch out, Evil Hearts, because Baron Dark has the ability to turn those with evil hearts into living skeletons, just like him. Alan, what are your thoughts on Skeleton Warriors? Do you think Prince Lightstar has any chance whatsoever to turn this whole thing around?
Yes, Robbie, I can hear you. No.
Why not, Alan? Because here's the thing, is that if you're pure of heart and you have the Lightstar Crystal, if you have your half of the Lightstar Crystal, I think that you might have just enough power, just enough energy to kind of pull this thing through.
Okay, so what's the Lightstar?
The Lightstar Crystal, Alan, for Skeleton Warriors for the PlayStation and PlayStation and Sega Saturn.
And we're talking about, what's the guy's name?
It's Baron Dark is the main villain. He also has a half of the Lightstar Crystal, but Prince Lightstar has his half of the Lightstar Crystal, so you can imagine that they're both going to fight tooth and nail to return the Lightstar Crystal to its
Got it. But if they both
original form.
I would give it a 50-50 chance, Prince Lightstar or the Dark.
A 50-50 chance, because it's a black and white choice.
Well, you said that they both had half of the crystal.
Right.
So it's a 50-50. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to vote 50-50, or I'm going to say Prince Lightstar is going to be able to pull it out.
What you're such a Saturday morning cartoon buff. You know so much about you're the Skeleton Warriors expert. So why don't you tell me what's your favorite Skeleton Warriors memory here?
My favorite Skeleton Warriors memory would have to be the time that the Skeleton Warriors defeated evil and triumphed over evil.
Well,
Back to you, Robbie.
Alan, I think I'm going to have to correct you there. I mean, I'm not the Skeleton Warriors expert, but I think that you'll find that the Skeleton Warriors are the ones that are causing all the trouble, and it's Prince Lightstar and his folks that are going to try and turn this whole thing around.
Yes, Robbie, it is Prince Lightstar is the one who had triumphed over evil. I was confused because it had been so many years since I saw the Skeleton Warrior.
All right, we'll check back in with
you,
Alan.
Robbie.
Back to you,
You're
Alan.
the skeleton
and we'll check back in very shortly. When you talk about Skeleton Warriors on the Sega Saturn and PlayStation, you are talking about a Kill or Be Killed 2.5D dark action platformer where you lead Prince Lightstar through the grim and fantastic world of Luminaire, fighting man-sized tarantulas, aggressive skeletons, and, of course, the undead polar bear. I mean, Alan, can you imagine a man-sized tarantula? If that doesn't thrill you, I don't know what else could.
Yes, I cannot imagine it. I am thrilled at the thought of a man-sized tarantula. I would have a hard time dealing with that if it showed up in my house.
And an aggressive skeleton, of course, could do whatever it wanted to you. It could, if it burst through your front door and you were maybe sleeping in bed or watching something on the television, you weren't expecting something like that to happen to you. These are not just your run-of-the-mill show up and have a seat skeletons. These are aggressive skeletons.
A spooky thought indeed.
And protected by the energy that Baron Dark has managed to harness by creating the skeleton warriors in the first place.
Yes.
And we'll check back in with you, Alan, shortly. Here's the thing about these skeletons. Alan, when you bust them up, you have to make sure and collect these bluish crystals that they drop. If you don't, the skeleton that you've just destroyed, the skeleton that has come apart into individual bones, because when you hit a skeleton, it shatters like glass. Because that's, I mean, that's just realism. That's just the kind of thing that you want, that you expected to see in these sort of mid to late '90s dark action platformers. They were taking all the ideas from older, more cartoony, more childish games of the same genre and adding in that extra layer, that edge of realism. So what happens when you hit a skeleton?
Is this a question?
It falls apart. So and they drop a bluish crystal, and if you don't pick up the bluish crystal that the skeleton drops when you shatter it, the skeleton will revive itself and keep fighting. Not only that, but the crystal that you pick up gets added to your sword power. As Prince Lightstar, you do have that sword power, which you are definitely going to want to use once you start running up against the classic Skeleton Warrior bosses in these classic Skeleton Warrior boss battles between you and bosses, and also, of course, Baron Dark. So you're probably
Robbie,
thinking
is this a game or a TV show?
This is Skeleton Warriors for the Sega Saturn and PlayStation.
I thought it was
based
maybe
on a TV show and a toy line.
Got it.
It's Skeleton Warriors. You're probably thinking there's at least one thing I haven't mentioned. Alan, can you guess what that is?
The Tokyo Game Show.
No, you're on the same page, but you're just at a different line, a different paragraph. So just look a little further down the page, look at the paragraph, and what are we not talking about when it comes to this classic Skeleton Warriors game?
Is there a modern port of this game that you're excited about? Is that what we're talking about?
I'll give you a hint. The game is a run and gun or run and slash, because you got the sword, the power sword, the Prince Lightstar power sword. You're slashing at the skeletons, knocking them back, shattering them to pieces. But there is one element that we haven't talked about yet.
And this would be, of course, you're
the
describing
vehicle sections. You're right, Alan. Nothing keeps an action game from becoming tedious better than a good vehicle section, and Skeleton Warriors has several. So just when you think this magical action game couldn't get any crazier, Prince Lightstar jumps onto a hover bike and flies over the Luminaire landscape, shooting his enemies, breaking their spirits, shattering them to bits, taking down the number of units in the Skeleton Warrior army one by one, all while piloting a machine that has yet to be seen on this earth. So no conversation about the Skeleton Warriors for the Sega Saturn and PlayStation 1 is complete without also discussing the music composed by none other than Tommy Tallarico, the composer that brought us such great hits as the RoboCop vs. Terminator soundtrack and the Terminator for Sega CD soundtrack. So let's take a listen to some of that classic Skeleton Warriors music set to some clips of the game and some screenshots. So Slain Back from Hell is priced at, you guessed it, $19.99, which is an insane base price for a game that has a base price of $12.99 on Steam. And I do have to give the publishers some credit because they do regularly mark Slain Back from Hell down to $5.99 on the Nintendo eShop. But this is still too much for me to pay for a bad game that was described by NintendoLife.com as a game where pixel-perfect leaps are made tricky by fiddly controls, enemies are horrendously spammy, and insta-death traps are to be found in abundance. Slain has little room for nuance. Even the best player in the world isn't going to be able to see a skeleton like the skeleton army from Skeleton Warriors. So you can see there's some a nod to the classic dark action platformers of the past there. Even the best player in the world isn't going to be able to see a skeleton enemy falling off from a platform 2 screens up, which totally ruins their attack plan and sends them plummeting into a trap. Slain suffers from poor design and a misguided desire to punish the player whenever possible. This is from Damian McFerrin over at NintendoLife.com. Thank you for your opinions, Damian McFerrin, and for convincing us that $5.99 is far too much to play for Slain Back from Hell. Nonetheless, as a fan of dark action platforming games and also metal music like the British band Bal Sagoth, the creators of A Black Moon, Broods Over Lemuria, Starfire, Burning Upon the Ice-Veiled Throne of Ultima Thule, Battle Magic, The Power Cosmic, Atlantis Ascendant, and the Chthonic Chronicles, I would also like to say that I am willing to pick up Slain Back from Hell someday just to enjoy those wild metal aesthetics. And the price I would like to pay for Slain is, of course, $1.99. So Digerati and Stage Clear Studios, please mark Slain Back from Hell down to $1.99 on the Nintendo eShop, and you've got yourself a sale. You've got yourself a sale for $1.99 Slain on the Nintendo eShop. You've made a game that's hard to enjoy. So I really think that $1.99 is a fair price. Just admit to yourselves that you messed up, mark it down as a loss and a valuable lesson, and move on. And also, good luck with your new dark action platformer game, Valfaris, and good luck. And please don't do what you did with Slain to Valfaris. All right, let's go to the phones and see what people are saying about Skeleton Warriors or Doom Troopers or Tommy Talarican or Slain Back from Hell. Caller, you're on the air with Electronic Game Information. What are your thoughts on all these classic dark action platformers?
Really, classic dark sort of action platformers. I sort of gotta rely for that sort of like dark feeling on newer indie games a lot of the time.
Newer indie games, like what's
the era that they take us up to? Huh?
What? Give us a title. Give us a name to kind of chew on.
Lisa the Joyful.
Lisa the Joyful. This is a dark action platformer, Lisa the Joyful. Tell us a little bit about Lisa.
It's sort of an RPG platformer horror game sort of thing. It's got very Undertale vibes, but with more of a Lovecraftian feel to it. You play this guy who lives in a world where there's no women left, and so everybody's sort of going crazy and gross, but he finds this one girl and he's got to protect her. He raises her, and then she gets kidnapped one day. Somebody finds out about it, so he's got to go through this world of like Lovecraftian, weird, post-apocalyptic people to kind of get her back and fight through these weird scenes and build up a crew and fight in this horror world. And so I like stuff like that a lot, and I think it kind of is a cool callback to some of that sort of metal imagery with some of those cool platformer games that got a little bit, weren't afraid to get a little dark.
Sorry, I'm distracted. Alan, what the hell are you doing?
I'm being a kind of a co-host of Electronic Game Information. Back to you, Robby.
So the Kidnappers. We're talking about Kidnappers. It's a dark action platformer game where you're fighting kidnappers of all things. It's one thing to fight the Skeleton Warrior army or the Doom Doom Troopers, but the fighting kidnappers it takes it to a whole other level. I mean, if we're thinking about the...
Yeah, sorry, I'm also a little distracted. What is Alan doing? Are you eating strawberries?
Oh, yeah. I'm eating strawberries. I got hungry. And Robby, have you tried these strawberries?
Yeah, I mean, I had... Yeah, I know what strawberries are, Alan.
No, Robby. I know you know strawberries. Have you tried these? The strawberries in Japan are so good, my man.
Did you come prepared with those, or did you like find those?
They sell them. And they're good. You should try them. They're better than American strawberries. They're like sweeter and smaller. You got to try these strawberries, Robby. It's so good.
Robby, I think you got to try one of those strawberries.
I don't... I mean, I'm fine with what I have. I have the fruit jerky and the protein bar that I got at the convenience store.
We're not here that often. You gotta get your hands on some of these sweet ass strawberries.
I don't like to eat anything sweet during the day. I like to eat starchy and kind of salty things. The seaweed.
You're missing out. You're missing out, my man.
I just I feel like if you're gonna be eating, you gotta be eating at a different time, maybe. Or we're gonna go on to the next caller. Thank you for your call. Thank you for telling us about Lisa, and hopefully she gets away from those kidnappers. Next up, we have another caller up here on the line with electronic game information. We're talking about dark action platformers and all the things, the thing about all the power-ups that you can get, the light star crystals and the extra ammo and weapon upgrades.
Yeah, I'm talking about the crystals. But first, I wanted to hear more about these skeleton warriors that you're talking about.
Well, we are talking about skeleton warriors, and that is it's a great topic to start with, because I think when the time comes,
Robby, it's a crank call.
It's a person that this is skeleton. We're talking about skeleton warriors. They want to know more about skeleton warriors. So let's hit them over the head with some more skeleton warriors information.
Robby, you're trying to pull the wool over your eyes.
Nobody's pulling wool over anything. This is a skeleton warriors conversation.
No,
this is dark action platformer conversation.
You're being had. They're doing a funny voice. It's just a gag. Hang up.
How can it be a gag? He's asking an actual question about something that we're actually talking about.
Exactly. It's a real voice.
So tell them something that we haven't. We have this limited amount of time to communicate information about the skeleton warriors.
Well, you got these skeleton warriors. Once you die, then your body rots and you turn into a skeleton. How do you become a warrior or stay a warrior when you don't have any muscles on your bones?
Alan. The caller asks a great question, Alan. How do you become a skeleton warrior? And the answer is obvious. We covered this. Baron Dark uses his half of the light star crystal to turn those with evil hearts into foot soldiers in his skeleton army.
So the power's from the crystals. Now what powers the crystals then?
It's an energy source. It's a cosmic energy source. It's like mana from the Final Fantasy games.
Robby, you're encouraging this person when you giggle. Just hang up.
All right. Well, thank you for your call. Thank you for just a well thought out question. It really got us both thinking and got us both talking about the skeleton warriors. Kind of set us back on track. Alan, we have a break coming up, Alan, but do you want to maybe just give the audience a little bit of something to look forward to? Give us a little bit of a lead-in here.
Yes. Robby and I are in Tokyo. We're having a blast, and we got to go explore the city and just have a ball with it.
Mm-hmm. So here's some footage of that wonderful ball that we had in the city. Here's some footage from our amazing adventures here in Tokyo, Japan. Reporting to you from Tokyo, Japan. I am here with Alan. Alan, say hello to everybody. We're here in...
hey everyone, we're in Tokyo, Japan.
We're in
Tokyo, Japan. This electronic game information
Are you recording now?
recording.
All right, we're here. We're trying to get a shot of the train coming over the bridge. We are waiting here for a train. Any moment now, a train should be coming right over the bridge.
Robby, they have
We're going to
games.
make sure we know that they have games. We're going to take our time getting the games. We just want to make sure we get with the train coming over the bridge.
Robby, what is
Electronic
this place?
It's Akihabara. This is the Electric City. We are waiting for a train.
Robby, we gotta go. They have video games everywhere. We should go.
We'll go with the train. I just want to wait for the train. Now, a train will come over the bridge, and we will get that shot. It's probably one of the best shots you can get at Akihabara with all the lights behind me. And I think I hear a train
I saw a guy
coming.
who's just like a crazy dinosaur.
I think there's going to be a train any moment now.
Can we go? Let's go. We should
I
go.
just
I know what I want to go now because they have
Wait for the
games.
train, Alan, please don't get in the shot. Train appear.
I mean, people getting mad. Cop got mad at me. We gotta go. They have a big game with a crane in it.
But I just want to.
Right, they got Mario Kart that's like really fast and cool. They got VR Mario Kart.
If you watch pot never boils is what they always say. But I'm gonna keep watching the pot. Any moment it's gonna boil, and we're gonna get that train coming over. And I think it's gonna be worth it. I think everyone here that is so excited to see that we are here in Tokyo, Japan. We are making a video, a travel video, a travel vlog, or some kind of thing.
Free sushi everywhere.
Okay, there's free sushi. Alan's going to get us the free sushi. We are going to definitely see a train any moment now. We've been waiting a couple minutes now. It seems like it's such a busy place like this. There's definitely be lots of trains coming over the trestle there.
I mean, there's a whole bit like a Sega stuff, and there's like a big bomb.
And we're going to see it all. We're going to see it all. We've got all the time in the world. We're just waiting for that train. There it is. There's the train. Tokyo, Japan. You see the train come.
Robby, they hit a cartoon of a big woman.
The train. I'm trying to get the train. Alan, it's a wonderful day. We get everything you asked for. If you're just willing.
We gotta go.
Okay. Alan is running off. Let's go see where Alan's going. It's a wonderful experience to be here with all the sights and sounds and things that help make the award. Alan's getting a little excited about something. I'm not really sure what's going on in Alan's mind, but he does seem very excited to be running down the street. We are following him as best as we can. It's a little scary back here. There's a lot of people I don't know. This does seem very weird that Alan is just kind of like, I don't know where Alan went. I think I see it. There's Alan. Alan, you're kind of going a little crazy. You're running off. There are some criminal elements around us at all times. So we are just so you know, we are staying safe. We did register with the American Embassy that we would be coming to Tokyo, Japan. We did tell them that we would be in a potentially dangerous situation. When you just find yourself in a different place, you feel I don't know who you are. That's terrifying. Hey everybody, this is Alan and Robby. We're walking down the streets of Tokyo, Japan. We're not sure the Tokyo. We are in Tokyo. Not sure what neighborhood this is, but really enjoying all the sights and smells, meeting all sorts of nice people. So happy to see us. Big fans of the show, big fans of video games in general. Just generally, just a very, very happy, just a happy crowds, and everyone seems just joyed to see us. Alan?
Live from Tokyo, Japan for EGI. Back to you in the studio, Robby.
All right, back to you, Alan. Back to the studio. Welcome back, and it is time for the arts. It's the arts here on Electronic Game Information. We have some of your fan art right here, and let's dive right in. Alan, are you there with us?
Yes, Robbie, I'm here, and it's the arts.
Please
Back
stop
to
eating
you.
the strawberries.
Yeah.
Alan, here's a lovely image of it's a picture of me as a bear and you as a kind of it looks like some sort of marmot. And
It's a cat, Robbie, and it's me with my friend Seaman.
It's you in.
Thank you.
It's you in the subway, and you guys are clearly just having. We're both just sort of, I think, personified in this image here a little bit because I sometimes I can be a kind of grumpy, stern bear, and sometimes you can be this other thing. And here's another picture that was from Gabriella Crossbow. Gabriella Crossbow, friend of the show. This is from friend of the show, Milkman. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a closer image of that. That's from when you took your neck brace off and things. You had a little bit of a spill there, didn't you?
That's
Al?
right. Yes, but I am back now. My neck feels good. I feel better than ever.
Neck feels good, feeling good, looking good. Alan, don't eat any more strawberries, please. That was from Milkman. This is from Zachary Gray Phillips, friend of the show, Zachary Gray Phillips. It's images of Alan, myself, Ben, and Toe Jam and Earl. We're missing Cricket in this one, which is too bad. But Cricket's always there in spirit in her own way. She's such a lovely person to have in our lives, and so helpful whenever we need to call on her for. Please do not eat any more strawberries during this segment. Such a friend, Zachary Gray Phillips, friend of the show. This is from Nacho Cheese. Friend of the show, Nacho Cheese, has drawn me and Alan as Armored Core mechs. Isn't that something, Alan?
Yes, wow. I'm an
Nacho
Armored
Cheese.
Core mech.
And you see all those big shoulders, those long arms, those weird legs. It's something that you can customize. Something that you can customize, something that you can just see what works for you. You can play the game how you want to play it, and you could be the person that you want to be. You don't have to fit anyone's particular definition of the or expectation of what an adult should act like.
Armored Core.
Armored Core. Friend of the show, Nacho Cheese. And
Thank you,
here's
Nacho
another
Cheese.
is a great one from Laura Lynn Leak, friend of the show. Laura Lynn Leak has drawn a wonderful. It's a picture of me looking.
It's a picture of me kissing Seaman.
It's more of a picture of me, and you're there too. But
And you're thinking about me.
and I'm thinking
kissing my friend Seaman.
You're missing the point. This is a wonderful, this almost like a Renaissance painting here, and then kind of like a silly like Sunday comic pages version of Alan. So that is how Laurel sees Alan and how Laurel sees me. So that's pretty flattering for the host of the show, and it's still you're still in there, Alan.
I'm very flattered, and
don't feel bad about it. This is another. I got to say that this is a pretty interesting picture for a lot of reasons. From Matt Pierce. Matt Pierce has drawn Alan in the subway
kissing
Seaman. It's
Remember,
true.
Robbie,
I can't look at this and
Robbie,
tell.
remember when I got to kiss Seaman?
I can't ever forget it, Alan, and the audience doesn't want me to either, apparently.
Seaman, if you're watching,
this is me saying I'm so
I just
happy
want
for
you to
you,
know
Alan,
that
which is
I
a bit of
enjoyed kissing you, and that was really fun. Thank you, Seaman. Back to you, Robbie.
So the audience, so Matt has drawn a picture of me saying, "I'm so happy for you, Alan," which is not, I am happy for you, Alan, because you have come quite far. Your neck's much better. You look a lot healthier.
Thank you, Robbie. I am healthy.
You're filled with is that called tannin?
I don't know, but there's something about just being the air in Japan is so nice.
This is from Lindsay Yang. Lindsay Yang has drawn a picture of Alan and Seaman at a picnic table. I'm looking on at the you guys drinking cups of fruit juice or wine, or maybe it's just weirdly drawn whales. I can't really.
I love this.
It's just art is everywhere. Art's everything that you can please. And Lindsay Yang has of course drawn me looking on, wishing I could join you guys at the table. I don't know why Seaman gets to sit at the table, but I don't.
It's implying that I went on a date with C-Man,
Well, you did.
which I did not.
You just
It
did
was just a
something.
kiss.
You just did something in the subway. It's fine.
It was just a kiss.
This is a wonderful.
But I'd like to
from
get dinner with
Emily.
C-Man.
Emily Wolver. Emily Wolver has drawn a whole cast
What is that?
of an EGI cast of characters as
Oh my
Animal Crossing
God.
characters. We get a nice shot of that.
Oh.
There it is. There's me and Alan
Yeah, we're
as
cats.
cats within the Animal Crossing universe. There's
Love it.
friends of the show, Ben and Cricket.
Oh, yeah.
In the back there, under the tree, is Tom Nook, and of course
Hey,
you can
KK.
see the list. It seems to be there. Isn't that something?
Oh, that's the list.
That's the list. Writing little notes on the board for everybody. Isn't that something? That's the list. And who's that in the foreground?
Who is that?
Spawn and Shadowhawk. Spawn and
fro-
Shadowhawk from the game I made up.
That is so
Emily Wolver
cool.
has drawn Spawn and Shadowhawk as Animal Crossing characters. So that's not just a first for the show, but I think that's a first for the country. So happy Video Game Day.
Yay.
This is a wonderful drawing of the Choo Choo Rocket for Sega Dreamcast cover, the CD slip cover for the Sega Dreamcast classic puzzle action game, Choo Choo Rocket. From Nathan Vegetable. Alan, what do you think about this?
I don't understand the reference, but I like the way the drawing looks.
Well, if you spent a
thank
little
you.
bit more time playing Dreamcast games and not so I don't know what the hell you were doing during that time, but you certainly were not spending it the way that a lot of us
My
were
parents
spending
didn't
it playing.
allow me to have game consoles, so I didn't have one until I was able to buy one myself outside of the home of my parents. Back to you, Robby.
Well, back to you, Alan. And this is friend of the show, Moop, is really.
What?
I
Moop?
don't really have a lot to say about this. I think it speaks for
Friend
itself.
of the show, Moop, thank you so much for
you
making
gotta-
a drawing
you
of
gotta
me
really
kissing
just
Seaman. That
it's
was
you
my
and
first
Seaman
kiss
and,
ever,
you know-
and now it's a drawing, and I love this drawing. I'll probably hang it up in my house. Thank you, Moop, friend of the show. Back to you,
Well,
Robby.
if it makes it, I don't know if you're allowed to bring this kind of artwork back through American Customs on the American side once we're off the plane. But
Well,
we'll be
I'll
sure to let them
print
know
it
that we
out.
have this picture in our luggage, so they can choose whether or not it should be allowed past the border.
They don't care.
Thank you for that wonderful drawing, Moop. And let's move on to the next segment, which is questions. It's the letters, and
It's
we
the
are
letters.
going to answer some of your questions that have been sent through email and Instagram. I'll start us off with a question from Cedric A. Dragon. Cedric A. Dragon says, "Hi, Robby and Alan. My name is Cedric A. Dragon from all the way over in the UK. Sadly, I can't watch your show live due to time zone issues. Sorry to hear that, Cedric, but I hope to get to see you read my mail out loud. Firstly, I want to
accomplished.
ask a question. This is a two-part email. In Robby's game featuring Spawn and Shadowhawk in colonial era America, do the retro 2D dream segments set in present-day New York affect the main game in any way, such as changing how the characters heal or conferring some other bonus depending on how well one does at them, or are they just purely
Yes.
a fun additional feature of the game?"
I think that they do.
Well, that's a great question, Cedric, and the answer is that they do actually add in a kind of they sort of unlock different sort of extra health bonuses or armor bonuses or even dexterity, depending on. We haven't really figured it all out yet, but we're going to. But yes, the levels will be very useful for your progression, for your character progression throughout the game. But also, if you want to go back and play those levels, there will be a way to do kind of time trials or speed runs. Second part of the question. Answer to a question Robby posed in his first segment. I never heard of Taifu Wrath of the Tiger before now. However, I'm grateful to Robby for telling me about it. It looks like a fun game, and I want to have sex with the tiger. It looks like a fun game, and God bless you, Cedric. So God
Robby,
bless you, Cedric, and thank you for your
Here's a
letter.
question. This one I think is for you, Robby. _I_like_fun asks, do Spawn and Shadowhawk sleep together in the same bed?
No.
Okay, that's a no. I'll let them know.
All right. Next up, we have a question from Brittany from Washington. Hi, Robby and Alan. Longtime EGI fan here. I've had this question since the very first EGI episode, but I'm too shy to call in. And that is a wonderful thing to get letters from people that are a little bit shy. I'm a shy person myself. This is a show for shy people, and I'm so glad to hear from you, Brittany. How do you find the time to play all these video games while still consistently creating content of your own? Well, Brittany, the answer is spreadsheets. I have spreadsheets for most of the activities for my day. I have amount of time that I want to spend reading. I have amount of time that I want to spend brainstorming in the morning. I go to the gym, and that's also on the spreadsheet. I have sort of meals planned out throughout the day. So, I'm not one of those people that gets up and eats a big breakfast. I actually do like to have some time before my metabolism gets kind of kicked into high gear. Where I am just kind of thinking for a while. So I do think for a while before I eat anything at around 11 o'clock. Sometimes I push it to 12 if I'm kind of feeling like I have, I'm not too hungry. And then I just, you look at the day ahead and you just kind of manage it the best you can. And if you have a little bit of time extra at the end of the day or in the middle of the day or sometimes at the beginning of the day, I do find time to play video games and read about video games and watch documentaries about video games and other topics.
Robby, Victrolic T asks, are there any tips for a new Stardew Valley player?
New Stardew Valley player. Any tips? I would say start small and work your way up. What about you, Alan? You've played some Stardew Valley. You're kind of a Stardew Valley expert.
You should try to marry Shane. You give him beer.
Do not marry Shane. Shane is an alcoholic, and he's mean-spirited, and you can do better than that. So this is a question from Mr. Matthew J. This is from Instagram. Matthew wants to know, what does Robby think of the Blood Rain series? Blood Rain 1, 2, and I believe there's a Blood Rain 3, or was it just the 2D Blood Rain game? I can never remember these things. I mean, it's just all these Blood Rain games are just raining like blood, I just suppose you could say. So the way I think about these Blood Rain games is that the first one's a throwaway, the second one's pretty good, and the 2D one is just for the hardcore dark action platformer fans.
The Infinite Radness asks, there's a question for me. Alan, are you and Seaman going steady? No, what? It was just a kiss. It was just a kiss on the subway. I don't actually know Seaman. That was the first time we met, and it was just kind of a fun thing. But it was important to me because it was my first kiss, so I will always remember it and cherish it. And thank you to Seaman, and thank you for asking about my relationship to Seaman. No, we're not going steady, but maybe who knows what could happen.
Pam Scampy from Instagram wants to know, what's your favorite place in Gloomsbrook? My favorite place in Gloomsbrook is probably Jasper's basement. Jasper's basement, or maybe the rooftops. So thank you for your question, Pam Scampy, and that is our time that we have for the letters. But keep the questions coming. We love to hear all the questions. We love to hear from you, the viewers. Especially those that don't have the ability to call in, or some people that just might get a little hesitant on the phone. So it's great to hear from all of you.
It's the letters.
Alan, I keep hearing this word, and I just want to run it by you because I just don't know what it means. And it's teraflops.
Oh yeah. You don't know a teraflop?
Because I'm thinking. Here's the thing.
You want me to know?
I'm thinking about getting one of those Xbox One X, right? For Cyberpunk, or maybe I just want to the games just look a little bit better. I'm thinking
no
Xbox One X.
Wait, is that the new?
It's got all the first line. It seems like on any. It's
Robby,
just
you don't have a 4K
teraflops.
TV. You just wait.
But it says it looks better.
But you don't have a 4K TV, so why would you get that? There's a new console coming out, right? Are you talking about the new console, or is that just
I can't afford a new console. I just want an Xbox One X because the teraflops.
Probably just wait. You have an Xbox.
Well, just tell me what a teraflop is.
A teraflop, it's like a unit.
Like an energy unit, or a measurement, or what is it?
It's a measurement. It's like a measurement. It's like a really big number. Just a teraflop, like a gigabyte is a big number.
So how many gigabytes are in a teraflop?
Usually it's in increments of 1,000,000 or 1,000. It's probably million. It's a million.
Well, how many teraflops do you have?
I don't have any. Robby, I don't have a 4K TV.
You need a 4K TV to see teraflops?
No, I'm just saying I don't have any teraflop. I don't actually understand this question.
We have a caller here of the line. Caller, you're on the air with Electronic Game Information. We're trying to figure out what teraflops are. Do you got a answer for us?
I actually wanted to call in to give you a question. Is that okay? It's related to what you just talked about, actually.
Okay, teraflops.
All right. So me and Moop, the friend of the show, were talking.
Friend of the show,
and-
Moop, of course.
Moop.
Yeah, of
Moop
course.
Glad to hear
drew me
from Moop at any
drawing
time.
of me
Just-
kissing Seaman. Thank you, Moop, friend of the show. Back to you, Rob.
Yeah.
You could,
So-
you get to choose what you want to draw. Moop chose that, so we're gonna,
Yeah.
we do respect,
Yeah.
the recording of events.
Awesome drawing, awesome person,
Mm.
So we were talking, and after hours of heated debate, we came to the conclusion that video games should always be a full price, always, no matter what holiday or special. And I just wanted to hear your take on it. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's a respect. I do respect that opinion, because here's the thing: is that when you do spend money, or at least the intention is that when you spend a full price on a game, it just means that you've made that investment. You've made the financial investment, so you're probably going to make the time investment. I mean, I spent $50 because of the eShop vouchers, $50 on Astral Chain. Brand new
That's a
dark
new
action
game.
from
That's a
the
new
Platinum
game, so that
It's
makes
a new game.
sense.
So yeah, so I'm gonna spend as much time as I can trying to get that $50 down to the $1 per hour of gameplay. So if I buy
okay.
something like, say, Alan, what's the game that I bought the other day?
Astral Chain.
No, the cheap one. The cheap one I bought the other day. I called you up to tell you about it before we left. I got it for the airplane ride. Downwell. It was Downwell, and I paid 50 cents for Downwell.
Sounds appropriate.
Barely played it.
Old
Astral Chain.
games don't look good, and they shouldn't cost money.
It's a new
They should
game.
be free because
Downwell's a new game. It
No,
just
but
looks
Robbie,
old.
when you watch TV, they play old movies all the time.
Yeah, it's a
and
great.
they're free,
That's a great
but then you
channel.
go to the
Turner
theater.
Classic
So
Movies,
why would
friend
you
of the
be
show,
paying
Turner
full
Classic
price?
Movies? What's the problem?
Right, exactly. What's the problem? So why would they? Who would want to pay? Those
Caller-
games cost like $50
Caller,
when they came out.
Just what are teraflops?
They're units of measurement. It's like a gigabyte. It's like a bit. It's like
okay, so we're talking about physical measurement, or are we talking about an energy measurement, or are
just
we
a
talking
number.
about like a It's
no, it's
just
like
a number.
It's like a number.
It's just a number.
I don't know actually.
Age is just a number. Teraflops are just a number. Caller, what do you think?
I'd be curious to hear what they think.
Caller, what
Hello?
do you think? What do you think of this conversation that we're having? I mean, Alan and me are kind of at a crossroads here, because Alan's telling me the teraflops are meaningless. That doesn't mean anything. It's nothing. It's just a number that doesn't matter. What do you think?
Well, here's the thing, Roggy. First of all, huge fan. Huge fan. Yeah, you guys, what you do, awesome. Anyway,
Alan.
computers. Let's talk about computers.
Well, how many teraflops do you have? Because I'm sure that everyone's got some kind of they've got everything written down.
Like
I mean,
2 minutes.
I've got that rig going. When I've purchased everything I need from Newegg and I put it in the spreadsheet, I know exactly what it is. I know exactly how many gigs of RAM I need, and how many QT-cores one of my graphics card. But these teraflops are just killing me.
Roggy, honestly, I do not understand. Like, I do want to vibe with you. I do want to see what happens. But, like, I just, you know what, Rumby? I respect your art. I respect your craft. Love you. Bye.
All right, thank you for your call, caller. Alan, I believe that there was one more topic that we had up for discussion. You had something that you wanted to talk about. I mean, we've been spending the time here in Tokyo, Japan. We've been playing all these games, looking at the Tokyo Game Show. Is there anything that stood out for you that you want to talk about?
Yes, Robbie, I would actually like to file a bit of a special report.
This is
if
an
that's
EGI
okay.
exclusive. The special report by Alan Resnick.
Here I go.
Take it away.
There are so many wonderful games being showcased at this year's Tokyo Game Show. It's hard for any game to stand out.
Proud of you, Alan.
But one of these games has made a very big impression on me. And that is why I would like to file a special report spotlighting a game called Gun Gun Pixies. Yes, Robbie, Gun Gun Pixies really is something special. As soon as I saw the gameplay, I knew this was the game for me. Gun Gun Pixies is a third-person shooter platformer coming soon to Steam and the Nintendo Switch. In it, you play a very small, cute alien named B-Tan who has traveled to Earth with her best friend and partner, Kamepon. B-Tan and Kamepon are on an incredible adventure to learn about Earth and its people. Robby. Just like you and I, Bitan and Kamepon find themselves in Japan of all places. What a coincidence. In Gun Pixies, Japan is experiencing a very serious housing crisis, and many of the women there have decided to live together in dormitory dorm rooms. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to explore these dorm rooms and help out the young women who live there. Armed with only a gun that shoots happiness bullets, Bitan is tasked with making these female inhabitants feel good. In one such mission, the human girl is experiencing a manic episode that is making her work out like crazy and do way too much yoga. It is your job to equalize her mood by shooting her with happy bullets and raising her endorphin levels. No small task for an alien who is, I will remind you, much, much smaller than a normal human girl. Yes, Robby, you are no bigger than a mouse as you run around shooting the seemingly gigantic woman in the lower body, upper body, and head with happy bullets. And this is just a taste of this incredible game coming soon to my very own Nintendo Switch. To think, soon I will be able to play Gun Pixies anywhere I go. I could play it on the bus or up in the sky in a big jumbo jet.
Of the game that you can use now?
I have
Because
never
we've
in
seen
my
a
life been more impressed by a game or
lot of
more
this one.
excited at just the thought of playing a game. I find myself staying up late into the night fantasizing about getting my hands on my very own copy of Gun Pixies. Move aside, Mario and Luigi. From now on, Nintendo will be synonymous with Bitan and Kamepon. And that is why Gun Pixies is my pick for top game at this year's Tokyo Game Show. Back to you, Robby.
Should we have some more footage from our Tokyo adventures? Let's
I think we're going
that
to
up. Thank you for your
I think we're
report.
gonna take
Can we
call-
please
call-
take that
can
clip off the
Caller?
off
People
the
want to
screen?
talk about this. Caller?
Beautiful lake here in beautiful Tokyo, Japan. We're just enjoying the hell out of this place. We've had such good experiences. We've eaten at so many different types of restaurants. We visited so many different arcades and stores, and we've seen so many different types of people. Not just people that live in Tokyo, Japan, but also just people from around the world who just come here visiting to see what they can see, to taste some of the forbidden fruits that travel can make less forbidden. And I look around this lake and I can't help but think, what kind of things that these wonderful people do when they get home if they've got a PlayStation 4 that's hooked up to a big flat screen TV, or maybe they curl up in a nice studio apartment at night with their Nintendo Switch, maybe playing something like Stardew Valley. That's just getting so good at playing farming games and playing and doing the things in Stardew Valley that matter the most, like mining and making sure that you're planting different crops that are appropriate for the correct seasons.
Hey everyone, Alan here, special correspondent in Tokyo for EGI. I'm in a boat with Robby. I'm rowing him around. He's having me do that. Thank you, Robby.
You're welcome, Alan, and you're doing a great job. Watch out for that boat. behind us, that pink boat, that beautiful pink boat, with a beautiful couple inside. I'm gonna just let's take a quick shot of the couple. This couple, they're paddling their boats around. They're just so happy to be together. This couple, on the other hand, I'm not so sure that they're as happy to be together. They're smiling, but I feel like there's some sadness behind the smiles. People are out. The lovers are on the lake. We've got lovers over here. If I'm going to see if I can zoom in on the lovers, if I can just get those lovers going. They're having a great time. There's 2 women and 1 guy. Seems like it could cause some problems. We are definitely not in trouble. We have made a lot of new friends. We've seen a lot of friendly faces. People are smiling and laughing at us in a way that feels very honest and pure and not unkind in any way. That Alan was so sure that he could do this properly, and I will say that he did not get us into any real kind of danger, but we were definitely in some rough waters for a minute there. We will see what happens when the boatmaster brings us back into deep boat. He looks like he's kind of tugging at us and making us angry and yelling. And we're back for the list. As we have been going through this year's Tokyo Game Show coverage, we've had a lot of opportunities to go through the list of Armored Core games, but we've only gone so far with the Armored Core games. So let's dive right into the Armored Core games that where we left off with the 2003 Silent Line Armored Core. Silent Line Armored Core is, of course, this Armored Core kind of game where you're going to build your mech up. You're going to take take it apart, build up, buy parts, and customize. So if you want to play the Armored Core game the way that you want to play it, then it is great news for you, because Silent Line Armored Core has been out since 2003. We have a caller up on the line right now.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing? We're talking about, we're back on the list, we're back on the Armored Core games. We've just gotten Silent Line Armored Core is on the list. It's a Silent Line kind of Armored Core game where you're just, you got all the elements from the original Armored Core games, but now you've got that Silent Line to kind of take you through and kind of separate you out from the numbered Armored Core entries.
Oh, wow, that sounds amazing.
It's a fantastic series of games, and what a better time, don't you think? With the creator, one of the creators of the Armored Core franchise, has a new game that is coming out tomorrow on the Nintendo Switch.
What's that?
Oh, that is a good day.
Damon X Machina.
It's on the list.
The Damon X Machina is not on the list because this is going to be a barn burner of a game. I'm telling you, this is the game that if you've been waiting for a barn burner of a mech combat game with all the customizable option from the Armored Core games, because here's the thing with the Armored Core games.
Is this an Armored Core game?
This is an Armored Core game. Here's the thing with the Armored Core games, and I will get to your question, is that the Armored Core games are a very neat audience, a very small, very dedicated audience, and I think that this Damon X Machina game, I mean, the Armored Core games just go perfectly on the list because these are games that just have a lot of heart. They don't play by the rules. They take what is expected of an action game and they build on it past a certain point, and they just made something new, something special. They made a whole franchise of these things.
Let's put it on the list.
Damon X Machina is not on the list because these are games. The Armored Core games.
Damon X
forget about
Machina
these
is a
games.
new
And no one's going to
Armored
forget.
Core
What I'm telling Alan, listen to me here. No one's going to forget about Damon X Machina. Damon X Machina is here. This is an EGI. This is an EGI. Prediction is that Damon X Machina may be a hot contender for Game of the Year. So, caller, you're on the air with Electronic Game Information. We're talking about Armored Core games. on the list. Alan, please stop eating those strawberries. Caller, what do you think?
Actually, I didn't want to take too much of your time, but I wanted to ask you, what's the music playing for when you play the list?
What?
When you had the list playing, what's the music playing in the background?
What's the music playing in the background? Can someone tell me? One of the producers in the room tell me what the music is? Caller, here's the thing: is I don't know what the list
That's just
music
the
is.
list.
It's the list. It's the music that comes with the list. Apparently. Look, if you got a list, then this is the music that you get. Just here's the caller. If you're curious about it, what you got to do is you just got to make all the effort to create your own list, and then when the list is there, you get the music, and then you know what it is. I don't know what it is. Alan.
Okay.
I saw that. So we're back on the Armored Core list. So we've got Armored Core. Silent Line Armored Core is on the list. 2003 Armored Core game. Next up, we are at 2004 with Armored Core Nexus. Armored Core Nexus came out in 2004. This was the 2004 entry into the Armored Core universe. Alan, what's your favorite Armored Core game?
My favorite Armored Core game would have to be Armored Core 5. It's on the list.
Armored Core 5 is on the list, but it's way down the list. We're not there yet, Alan. We're still in 2004. Armored Core 5 is, of course, a 2012 Armored Core game, which is way down the list. Caller, you're on the air with electronic game information. It's the list. We're talking about the Armored Core games.
Robbie, what Armored Core are we on?
Armored Core Nexus, the 2004 Armored Core, classic Armored Core style kind of game that came out in 2004. If you are thinking about building up your Armored Core mech, you might start with Armored Core Nexus. That's about a third of the way down the list of Armored Core games, and we're so pleased that caller that you're on the air with us. What's your question?
I was wondering, the Ring Fit Adventure for the Nintendo Switch, that fitness turn-based RPG, if they had an Armored Core part of that game where you could build your mechs and also, get fit while doing it.
Well, I mean, that's a great... We're talking about the Ring Fit Adventure for the Nintendo Switch. This is, of course, the Joy-Con goes into the ring, and you tug and pull the ring, and you move it around. I guess you put it over your head, or I don't know. All the things you can do with the ring. We're going to learn more as the release date comes closer for the Ring Fit Adventure. But here's the thing: is that what the caller's asking is what kind of things could you do with the ring in an Armored Core game, or maybe a Daemon Ex Machina kind of game. Alan?
You blast enemies in a city, and you're sort of a big robot.
No, with the ring.
Oh, I don't know.
With the ring, you pull apart and you tug and you push it up in the air and you move it. You just maybe twirl it around.
You could make the robot fly.
Because it's not like you don't have wings with these Armored Core mechs, Alan. I mean, they're booster rockets. They shoot them up in the air.
Maybe you could charge the battery of the mech.
Well, here's what I think you just use it to turn the
like a steering wheel
hatch to get out of the mech. So whenever you need to ever do any of the on-foot portions of these mech combat games, whenever you turn the ring, you're actually getting out of the hatch. So that if you ever want to run around just on foot, that's how you do it. You feeling a little sick, Alan?
I feel sleepy.
You ate a lot of strawberries, Alan.
No, I didn't.
So that was the list. We will be back next week with our final look at the Armored Core games on the list. So make sure to tune in next week for that. And thank you, Alan, for being who you are, I guess. So here we are, the final episode of our Tokyo Game Show coverage is just around the corner, and I'm stuck here in Tokyo, Japan with Alan, who has changed significantly since landing here. I really don't know what's come over him. I am not concerned, but I do find that I ended up here in Tokyo with a different person than the one I left the United States with. That was our episode 3 of Tokyo Game Show coverage. Be sure to tune in next week for our final episode of Tokyo Game Show coverage. Feel free to email us questions. Send us questions through Instagram, fan art. We are so happy to hear from you every single time. Be sure to tune in next week for the final episode of Tokyo Game Show coverage. We will have more news from the game show, as the game show will be wrapped up by then. Daemon X Machina will have come out by then. And, of course, we'll have plenty more footage from our adventures on the streets of Tokyo, Japan. It's a classic city. See you next week.
Thank you.